If you've never been here before, this is where I share some of the things that I've been making recently, some shop news, some of the finished objects that I have, just like a regular kind of knitting podcast. Thank you, all of you, so much who used my Knit Collage affiliate link for the make along. I'm so excited that you guys, the ones who are going to be doing it, are going to be doing it with me, and can't wait to share progress with you guys over, maybe you guys will be able to do some of the Zoom calls that they do for the Knit Collage make along, and I hope to connect with you guys, and I'm very, very excited. And we still have, I guess it's about 10 days until it starts, and in the meantime I have been working a lot on one project that I'm hoping I can get as far as I can. I'm sure I won't finish it because it's a big project, but I've been really into it. So I've been doing that, and then I'm sure once the knit along starts, I'm gonna just be lost in knit collage land. I want to start by sharing the project that I've been working on most, and I've been loving this project. It is the Stephenville Crossing Sweater by Jennifer Beal, and I've gotten pretty far. I'm really actually kind of surprised at how well this has been going. This is the front of it. It is a beautiful lace and cable, hope you can see that okay, lace and cable project that is so interestingly knit. And I mean, in terms of the design of it, I love the fact that I started with, I don't know if you guys remember, I started with these tiny little tabs up at the top on either side, and it's kind of grown out in all different directions since then. But this is the neck hole, and I'm gonna try it on for you. It's gonna fit. What am I doing? There. So this is the front side. These are the arms, and I'm knitting the arms and the front of the body are all knit in like a piece going straight down now. So the last time I showed this, I believe I'm not sure, I think I just started this part that cast on. I'm not sure, maybe I did one side of it. God, I'm always kind of backwards when I look in the viewfinder, but anyway, this is the project so far. I love how I can try it on. Anyway, it's really going to be beautiful, I think. It is quite a challenge to follow the pattern just because it's got so much lace and cable right now, the part that I'm doing. There are these, across the pattern size that I'm making, there are these 5 diamonds, and I've just completed the top. It's not a very good shot for you guys to see. The top part of this diamond here. So there are 5 that go across the front, and I'm almost in the middle of the diamond. There's like another kind of cable that crosses into the middle. I'll show you the picture. I'm gonna show you on my iPad because that seemed to work really well last time. I actually want to show you what I've done with my iPad recently. Okay, so this is you can see the diamonds across there, and I'm kind of halfway down the diamond row. Anyway, it is such a cool pattern, and it definitely takes a lot of concentration. I've been pretty much starting every morning working on it, and then in the evening before bed I work on it too. So I get probably, I don't know, I think it depends which rows I'm on. As I'm getting more kind of involved with the diamond parts, it's a little bit slower going because you're going all the way across that whole front and sleeves with one row. So they're very, very long rows. I have a very long cable needle that it's on. And I probably get maybe 4 to 5 rows done a day recently. And just because they're long, and I maybe get 2 done in the morning, maybe 2 or 3 at night, or, you know, just depends how much time I have. But so it's pretty slow, although it's going along pretty well. And I just wanted to show you guys what I think is helping me a lot, although it's kind of ironic because I was thinking, oh, I'll share this little tip with my iPad that I figured out to help me keep track of where I am in the pattern. And then this morning when I was working on it, I realized I had made a mistake. So it's definitely not a foolproof pattern tip, but it has helped me a lot to just keep track of following what this pattern is like. I'm just going to show you a random kind of row. This isn't giving away anything in the pattern because you'd never be able to piece together what this is from here, but just to give you an idea of what one row is like look at row 43. It's like a lot. There's cables and lace in that row. So what I've been doing with my iPad, I have this GoodNotes app, which I think the app is free you can get it for free and just use one notebook, but it was $5, I think, for the whole thing. And I just decided I use it so much that I'm going to get it, pay for the app. And I'm not sure what bonuses you get from that, but it's so little and it's such a useful app. So I just want to give you guys a little peek at a row that I've marked up. So the thing about the GoodNotes app is you have highlighters, you can write on PDFs, you can highlight, you can, the other thing that I do a lot with the knitting patterns is I do a screenshot and I cut that little piece or paste it onto the page that I'm working. For example, when you're forgetting how to do a certain cable, the little key at the beginning of patterns, you can cut out that little piece and move it to the page that you're working on so that you can have everything kind of right there on your screen. So in the morning, I sit there and I just have my iPad open and I work along on my row, and it's a very much a sort of it's kind of psychologically, it's a really interesting kind of a pattern for me because you're really doing one thing at a time. You're very much in the moment of this project because it's a very high concentration row that you're doing. So you have to really look at every single step that you're doing. And let me just show you what I do, for example, and this is really not going to give away anything in the pattern. But I just want to show you quickly how I highlight and how I've marked. You can see where I've marked the size by crossing out in red the parts that are not my size. That's the red pen. And then I've highlighted the number for my size. Oh, sorry. You know what? I'm getting text at the same moment that I'm trying to show this. Then I have highlighted in pink is where I'm repeating 4 times. So I can just look at that when I'm doing the repeat. And then I am so sorry. Not a good moment for getting a lot of text. And then I've also kind of highlighted areas in different colors, and the colors I don't use specific colors, but I just want to use different colors so that I can see, okay, there's where I'm going to do a cable. There's where I'm going to do something that I might need to pay extra attention to. So anytime I feel like there's something that I need to make sure I don't make a mistake, I highlight it. And I've used a couple different colors just to make it kind of clearer to me than that first thing that I just showed you, which was just a bunch of abbreviations, knitting pattern abbreviations. But if you look at something like this and you just see it like that, it's very intimidating and it's hard to keep looking back and forth at. So when I've highlighted it with this GoodNotes app, it's just helped me a lot to keep track of the row that I'm doing and what's happening in that row, because there's just so much going on in each row. So I just wanted to share that little tip because I find it really helpful. And then the other thing that I was just talking about is when I need to, for example, here's a thing about the cables that I've just cut out or screenshotted that, and I can move that little key that tells me what do those little what do the abbreviations for the different kinds of cables mean. So I just move that along with me so that it's all on one part of the screen. Anyway, I hope that makes sense. I just thought it was useful if you happen to have an iPad, and you can get the GoodNotes app. Like I said, I think you can just get it for free actually. And for this purpose, I think this is totally free. But so it's very, very highly organized in terms of how I'm working on this, because you have to really pay attention to every single step, which is even within one row. And it was really actually reminding me of like climbing a mountain or going hiking on a difficult trail. Like you're literally watching every step that you make along the way. Then there'll be some areas that are flat and easy. It's good that there are those too, but most of the time when you are on a difficult hike, or if you're trying to figure out like, how do I get up that part of the hill? Sometimes you have to kind of scramble up with your hands too. Like, I feel like that's when you're like, oh, I've got to do this cable, so I've got to go check and see, how do I do that? And that's when I use that key to do that one little step. Then you make it past that, and then you do the next step. And so it's very, very technical, I guess you would say, this kind of knitting. Very different than a lot of projects that I do. You know, you got to have different, I feel like I've got to have different kinds of projects for different purposes. I actually haven't done, this might be the most complex cable lace pattern I've ever done. So it is very, very technical, like I said, and it's a different kind of thinking, and it's a different kind of process and joy. And it's very much like, it's like doing a very difficult puzzle or something too. You know, you're just puzzling out each row and each step sometimes, but it's working. You know, it's really looking great, and I'm doing it, and it's not taking forever. It really isn't. I think as long as you do it kind of slow and steady. And I'm learning so much. I mean, that's the other thing about all of knitting, no matter how advanced you get. I mean, I've been knitting for a very, very long time, and I've done a lot of different kinds of projects. So I would say I'm definitely I'm an experienced knitter, but I feel like I'm still always learning new things every time I pick a project that has, I'm trying to pick projects a lot of the time that have new things for me to learn in them. I also love those projects that are just mindless projects that are great to just bring along in the car or what have you. So that's what I wanted to share. And of course, this pattern also has a chart. The chart for me is much more, I use the chart much more for looking at the big picture, because I don't know all the little symbols, especially with a cable lace pattern. It's just really good to see the overview. And actually, when I made a mistake this morning, when I discovered that I had made a mistake a couple rows back in one little section of the triangle, I actually went and looked at the chart, and it was very, very helpful to make sure I could pinpoint what did I do wrong and what should I have done, even though I had only done this mistake, luckily, on one of the triangles. I'm going to put in, I did film my correcting. I did fix the mistake, which was not sure that I was going to be able to do that. And I did actually get my camera out and film it, because I thought it might be interesting to show you how I fixed it. But I had this thing set up like with an arm just holding my camera, and I just fixed it. It took me an hour to fix the mistake, but I did fix it, and I didn't have to unknit or knit backwards or anything. I just used pins, and I pinned it down, and I unwove one little part, which is right in between. It was right in here. And I will show, I'll show a portion of that if it works out. I haven't actually looked at the footage, but I'll put that in here. I wanted to show you the mistake and see if I can fix it, and I thought I might as well show you how I would fix it if this works. So I don't know if this is going to work, but I'm gonna try. Sort of like this little challenge. This is what the lace is supposed to look like. I'm on the right side here, doing this pretty section. It goes all the way across. This repeats 5 times on my size. And I did this row. I was going across this row when I noticed that, I think this is the right side. I think I'm working on the other side actually. Yeah. This is what it should look like. The next one, the repeat looks like this. Then I got to this one right in the middle of it, and I noticed that instead of this part here, I hope the lighting is good enough. These are purl bumps where there should be these nice smooth knits. So when I got to this part, I didn't notice this until you can see I'm a couple rows past this section, but what I need to do, undoing this would be difficult. Knit tinking I don't like to do, and it's not that hard to do when you're just doing a stockinette stitch, which means going back, knitting backwards for a couple rows. That's what tink is. It's the word knit backwards, in case you didn't know that. But recently I've found that actually if I just take a few stitches off of the needles and keep these other ones secure, I can, sorry, the lighting isn't very good. Sometimes just weave these stitches the right way, unweave them and then reweave them the right way. And then I can fix it without having to undo a couple of rows back. This is a pretty noticeable, I mean, I think it wouldn't be the end of the world, but it's so pretty the way this is just this perfect little diamond. To have this, these purl bumps here is bothering me. And plus it's right, well, it is symmetrical because then there are 2 more on the other side of it that are diamonds that are perfect. It's right in the middle, right smack in the middle. This is the neckline right here. So I'm gonna try to undo these and redo them. So I thought I would do it on video and see if I can do it. That looks like it might. It doesn't look like it's that hard, but I am a little nervous because I've got these cables going on either side. I'm pretty sure I just messed up 5 stitches in the middle. Although I'm not sure if I only messed up 5, but I think those are the ones that matter. I think I did mess up a couple others actually, but I think they're hidden by this cable part, so I don't think it matters that much except for the middle ones. Even if I could fix one of those, I think I can fix the 3 that you really can see. I think I'm gonna flip it over. I just feel a little more comfortable working on this side because I think I'm in the right spot now. So when you do a cable, you're crossing over some stitches, and there's like a little double layer here because this little part of the cable is going over some other stitches. I think those are wrong underneath there, but I think I can leave them. So here's what I want to do. Here comes my doggy. I'm going to take these 2 stitches off. I've never used these pins for this, but they seemed like they might work well. Because they have this like loop. Oh, I don't want to twist that. Let's see what this looks like. Really hope I don't mess this up. Okay, so yeah, you can like lift them up that way and see. Ooh, this is gonna be tricky. All right, so this is a cable that goes this way, and I'm gonna just stick that right in. This is the working yarn. Get that on the other side. think I did it. Oh my goodness, I think I fixed it. That's what it's supposed to look like. I think I fixed it at least well enough. I actually had to surgically remove this little section from underneath the cable, fix it, and then replace it back underneath this cable part that goes over it. So it was really, I wasn't sure I was going to be able to do it. I did do it, and like I said, it took me an hour to fix it. I still don't think, I think I still saved time. If I had gone back and undone the rows, because they're such long rows, I think I definitely saved time. Fixing it that way rather than just knitting backwards or tearing it out. I don't think I would have been able to tear it out because I didn't have a lifeline, which, if you don't know, a lifeline is when you kind of insert a whole line here so you can just tear out what you've done. I would have been really sad if I had to rip back the several rows. It would have been, like I said, maybe 2 days worth of work on this, and I would have been very sad if I had had to do that. So I was really pleased with myself that I was able to fix it that way. Plus, I feel like whenever you take it apart, whenever you do that kind of surgery right on a section by undoing those few stitches and ripping down the row and then getting them back up, you learn about the structure of your knitting, especially when it's a lace or cable pattern, because that's very different than just the regular stockinette stitch. And so I learned something a lot about how these stitches interact, and it was really tricky, but I'm so pleased that I was able to fix it. So anyway, I will put that footage in, or maybe I already have. I'll probably fast forward it a bit, but just so you can see how tricky it was. Stephenville Crossing, I'm very excited about it. Like I said, I'm about halfway done that chart of the front. And I think there's another chart for the front that's simpler. And then I think I have to repeat the entire thing on the back. So this is going to be a very long-term project, but I'm pleased with how quickly it's actually going. And it is in my Hohi bag, which I absolutely love. This is my new leather patch Hohi bag. I just absolutely love this size of this bag. I'm gonna be sad if this sweater is too big soon to fit in here, but it's such a nice size. I love the way it's a little bucket bag. Anyway, this is my new favorite knitting bag. Oh, and I did bring a skein of that yarn up here, which is a beautiful yak yarn that I'm using called Haven by Reywa Fibers. And this was the yarn that was used in the original pattern by Jennifer Beal. And so I just decided, I've never worked with 100% yak, so I thought that would be really fun to get it. And I really like the little tiny sort of bits of color in this very neutral shade. So I thought that was fun. So I hope that was clear about how I use my iPad. I wanted to share that with you, but I didn't want to obviously show you the pattern too much. But I think just showing that one row, nobody could ever piece together how the pattern's made. So I hope that was clear though. I think that using highlighters, I mean, you can totally print out a pattern and use highlighters in that same way. There's something, oh, the way that I use, I should have probably mentioned, I use the iPad pencil. So it's an Apple Pencil, sorry, with my iPad, and it works, it fits right on the top. It charges, but actually by being right on the top of the iPad. And this is how I highlight so easily, and I change the color so quickly. So you can totally print out the pattern and do that. What I like about it is that I can also erase those highlights if they seem like if I have to repeat a row, you can easily quickly erase, not the highlights, but I mark off each place where I've gone sometimes along. It's just, it helps you be very, very precise and keep exactly track of where you are without it getting confusing with too many marks on the page, because you can then erase the marks very quickly and easily with this whole iPad thing. Plus, when I go back and have to repeat that side again, I can erase all of the places where I've already done those rows so that it's all kind of fresh. I'll leave all those markings, obviously, highlights where I'm going to repeat each section. I'll leave that in for the next time so I don't have to go back and mark those again. But it's very, very flexible. So if you happen to have an iPad, it's a great process. I've never used it. I've used it recently since I got this iPad. I got this iPad with some Christmas money that I got, and so I've had it since Christmas time. I've been using it for patterns a little bit, but I haven't had to do such a complex pattern before, so I'm sort of using it for the first time that way. And I just kind of came up with this system to use it for myself. So what I do is I just get the PDF of the pattern, which you can always download the PDF onto your computer. And usually I used to just print them out, but instead I open them in GoodNotes, and then I can use all of the functions of the GoodNotes app for marking up the pattern in that way. And then it's also always right there. Like, I know where it is. I also have the printed out pattern in my bag in case I need to work on it when I don't have my iPad. But for this pattern, I wouldn't even try that because I'm so very careful on keeping such track of where I am in the pattern with the iPad. So I kind of need it. It's kind of a big deal when you pick up that project. You have to be like, okay, I've got this time. I'm going to work on it. I'm going to do one row. I usually am like, I'm going to just do one row. And in the morning, I usually do, like I said, a couple of rows, but I'm very much just one step at a time with this project. This morning, since I discovered I made that mistake, I was only able to do one row. And that's when I discovered the mistake in the middle of that row. It was like I needed to go get another cup of coffee, and then I did this whole surgery, and it worked out. But I only got that one row done this morning, and it was also supposed to be a really simple row. So sometimes that happens. I'm glad it wasn't a complex row, actually. Yeah. Okay, on to my shop news. You may have noticed that I am wearing a t-shirt that says directed by Wes Anderson, and that is in honor of my new yarn club that is called KnitFlix. And I decided to start this new yarn club. I just love the idea of how we all love to knit and watch movies. And I thought, wouldn't it be fun to design a yarn every month based on a movie? And we could, as a community, whoever decides to buy the yarn, or even if you're not going to buy the yarn, it would be a lot of fun to just design a yarn based on a movie, present that as a club yarn, and watch the movie together. And it's a great kind of way to discover other movies that I don't know about. If I could get people to suggest movies, I would love that for future movies. But the first movie that came to my mind when I thought of this was the Grand Budapest Hotel by Wes Anderson, because it is Wes Anderson is my favorite. I would say he's probably my favorite director of all time, because I just love how artistic and quirky and funny and beautiful his movies are. They really appeal to me in their aesthetic. So of all of his movies, Grand Budapest Hotel is I wouldn't say it's my favorite of his movies. I like a lot of his movies. I don't really want to have to pick a favorite, but I do. Isle of Dogs might be my favorite, actually. But I think aesthetically, Grand Budapest Hotel is, when I saw that movie for the first time, I was like, this is the most beautiful movie visually that I have ever seen. It really appealed to me in colors, and visually I was really struck by that. So that came to me as the first month of the KnitFlix film and yarn club selection. And then as I was thinking about Grand Budapest Hotel, I was like, well, and Wes Anderson, why don't we do a summer film series on like a director's spotlight kind of thing? So I thought the first 3 movies, and it's also helpful for me to think of a couple movies in advance for any club, or a couple of yarns in advance sometimes for whatever clubs I do. So I thought we'll do June, July, and August will be Wes Anderson movies. And I'm not going to reveal what the next 2 movies are in this series. I kind of think I've decided, but I chose this Grand Budapest as my first choice, and I actually got this book. I got this book, I actually got it used on Amazon, and it is so fascinating. But I thought it would be fun as I was kind of researching things about the film. I came across this book, and it's absolutely gorgeous, full of really fun interviews and gorgeous pictures, just to help me figure out the colors. But also I'm totally into reading about Wes Anderson because he's such a fascinating director. I just love, look, just the photographs in this book. It's actually a huge book. I didn't realize that it was going to be this big. All about the movie. I have a few other books about that I have on Wes Anderson as well. The first book. And this book is it's actually even big. It's big. It's a huge coffee table book. And at night, right before bed, I've been reading about it. Starts off like with his first movie, Bottle Rocket, and goes into, I think it might go up all the way, covers a lot of his movies. Moonrise Kingdom, I think, is the last one in the book. And then after that, I think they started doing individual books. And it's just so fun to read about these interviews with him and the actors, storyboarding. I don't know if you're just interested in movies at all, and especially if you like his style, it is full of all kinds of cool stuff. And it has great illustrations. I mean, just look at the cover. The illustrations are all done, I think, by the guy who put together the book. Just really fun. Here's a book of during the filming of the Royal Tenenbaums, where they're just goofing off. So there's a lot of kind of extra stuff in there. So I recommend that book as well. And yeah, so I think, I guess what I didn't even mention yet is what I'm so excited about for this film club is the director's cut, I decided to call it, which is the kind of extras and add-ons that you can, or you don't have to, but you can sign up for. I think I made it only $15 more a month, and I'm super excited to put together some goodies that are related to the film and related to knitting. Hopefully, either, they can be either one, but I want them to be useful to you, or like, a tool or stitch mark or something that you can use while you're knitting, but has a little bit of to do with the movie too. So like, it's super fun to figure out what I will do for each movie. And with the Wes Anderson movies, there are a lot of kind of insider jokes and things that are making it pretty easy to find things. I've already found enough things for this first month, and I've found some for the next months as well that have to do with Wes Anderson movies that I am thinking about using. So if you want to sign up for that, that's an extra $15. It's definitely that amount will be a good deal. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, I'm not trying to make money off of this aspect of it. I just think that it would be really fun to tie it in with some goodies. And I love that myself. I just love doing themed boxes. I love that. I learned about that sort of from the Advent calendar, like how much fun it is to seek out, source fun little extras for a themed box, basically. So that is something I really love doing. So if you want to sign up for that aspect of it, you can. And you also could sign up for this with a monthly can be a subscription, or it can be just month to month. And you can also change with the subscription service that I use. You can change your subscription every month to be a different base, to be just, say you just want a mini skein that month, say you want to do spinning fiber that month, or you don't want the director's cut version that month, or you do. You can change it every month, and you get an email a few days before your monthly subscription charge goes through. So I think it's like 5 days before you get a thing saying you're about to be charged in the next few days for this. So that's a good opportunity with a link. I think it has a link in the email. This is all like a service that I use. And they send you this and this notification, and then you can go change it. You can opt out that month. You could change the frequency you want. So it's very, very flexible. I've been using it for my monthly full moon yarns, and people seem to really like it. I can see that sometimes people change it for a different base. I'm always notified when people are changing it so that I know. But it's very cool that you can kind of go in there and manage it yourself, is what I'm trying to say. If you ever have trouble managing it or can't figure it out, you can always just email me, because I can also go in and change it for you. So just email me if you can't figure out how to change it yourself. So I just wanted to let you know that option, those two options really, the director's cut for all the fun insider add-ons, and you also have the option of doing the monthly subscription version, which doesn't cost anything extra. So it's good if you know, say, that you want to collect all 3 of the Summer Spotlight on Wes Anderson yarns, and you don't want to miss the pre-order period. So I also want to just put out there, please let me know what favorite movies you have that you would love to see translated into a yarn colorway. I would love movie suggestions. I was thinking about, so I have the summer movies planned, but I was thinking about for fall, it would be super fun to do something that is, for September, I was thinking maybe like a school-related movie. Would be kind of fun just because it's sort of September back to school. For October, I would love to do kind of a horror scary movie for Halloween. And November could be like a family type movie. I don't know what November should be, but I was thinking, for December definitely should be a holiday movie. So if you have any favorites that are colorful, that have a aesthetic that would be kind of easy to pinpoint in terms of color, I think that would be really fun to know what movies you guys are looking forward to. So I think that's everything. Oh, I also wanted to say, I think it says this in the listing, but just like the moon colorways that I do, you can order this in from anything to a mini skein, and I have 5 different bases for mini skeins, to any full-size base you want, as well as spinning fiber. So this club is very, very flexible. It's really interesting when I offer so many choices, how many different bases people are interested in. It's so fun with the full moon club. I am dyeing up almost every base that I make. Almost everybody wants a different base. It's really interesting how when you offer so many choices that it's not just like everybody chooses the same thing. Pretty much everybody chooses something different. But it's really not that hard for me I have all those bases in my workshop because I dye them to order anyway. So it's very easy to just dye them all in one batch. So when I'm dyeing stuff for these clubs, I'm just picking all the bases that people are choosing and I dye them all together. I can fit, like 5 to 6 in my each pan. And it's okay if they're mixed bases. It's still taking the same dye, everything, the process is the same. So it's really fun to see all the different colorways on all the different bases that people like. And I always think it's interesting that people really love having so many choices of bases. Oh, I think what I'm going to do, I'll share what I'm going to do. And each month I can show you my progress on this too. I'm very excited about the film club too, because I'm also really excited to watch all these movies again. And I thought what would be really fun to do is work on a throw using the colorway for the film club. So I think I'm going to do a crochet throw. I don't know which pattern yet. maybe one of those really simple ones with the mini. I'm not sure if I'm going to use mini skein or full size. I'm not really sure yet. I haven't figured out which one I'm going to do for myself yet, but I'm going to have to decide soon. And I'm going to crochet with the colorway each month while I'm watching the movie of the month. So I thought that would be a really fun project. I think I'll probably, this is maybe a bulky, I love crochet. It's very fast to crochet a bulky skein. So maybe I'll do myself a bulky and do a blanket with each month's film to work on while I'm watching the film. And I will share it here with you guys. And then I'll have this KnitFlix lovely cozy colorway throw of all the KnitFlix films that we have done together. And I also think it would be fun if there's interest to possibly get together in a Zoom and talk about the movie too. I don't know if that's realistic that everybody's going to really watch the movie or would be interested in discussing it. Maybe we can figure that out over Instagram or wherever we can, give me back some feedback on if you'd like to kind of have a monthly meeting where we talk about the film too, because I think that's a big part of a film club. It's fun to talk about it. We can also just talk about it on Instagram as well. So I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to say about the KnitFlix Yarn and Film Club. Very excited about this new club. The other thing I wanted to share is the other shop news is I have started doing my advent calendar already for the advent season. And I did decide to do some fiber advents this year. I had the last couple years, people have requested that, spinners have requested that I do a fiber advent as well. I think I was always very overwhelmed by just the idea of the yarn advent, but this year I've done it a couple of years. I've done it, maybe this will be my 5th year, I think, actually, but for doing the large number that I do, which is 100 advents, I do 100 mini skein advents a year. That's kind of the maximum that I want to do for the mini skeins, but I was like, you know what, I've done that. It's early. I think I can manage to do a small number of fiber advents as well. And I myself think it would be really fun to spin during the advent period, just that 1 ounce. Each day's amount is going to be 1 ounce. So I think that's very manageable to spin that up kind of every day of Advent. So I'd really like to do that too. So what I'm going to do is I'm making 16 fiber advents. I'm keeping one for myself so I can do it too. So we have 15 to sell. I've already sold a couple since I started advertising it yesterday or the day before. And I just want to get that out there for you guys. If you're interested, you should probably sign up for the fiber advent pretty soon because like I said, I'm only going to do 15 of those. When I do the advents, I'm going to do a whole episode, I decided, on advents. Maybe my next episode, because I think it is really interesting. I don't think I've ever seen any indie dyer do an episode on how they do the process for doing the advents. It's kind of interesting. It took a lot of figuring out because it's a big deal to dye that much yarn at once and package that much yarn at once. I have a lot of photographs from last year's advent too, so I can share that as kind of showing how I do the colorways, how I decide what to do. So all of that is going to be covered in another episode, so I don't need to go into that right now. But I did want to let you guys know that I did start to organize and plan and dye. I haven't actually started to dye. I've meant to start dyeing today, so hopefully that will start. I thought I was going to start a couple days ago. I have half of the mini skeins. I have the fiber. I have the stuff to get started, and so that's going to start in the next couple days, the actual dyeing. The planning has started of the colorways, and I should just hold off. I'm going to go on into all that in another episode, so that'll be interesting because there is a lot to kind of learn, I guess, about that. For today's special discount, I guess you call it, my special discount for my YouTube viewers, I thought instead of doing a percentage discount today, I would just say that if you mention to me that you saw my YouTube, when you place an order in the next week, if you want to get a free mini skein, I will include that with your order. So if you happen to order in the next week or two and you write in the note, free mini skein, just that's all you have to write. YouTube mini skein, that would be a good thing. So there's no code, but just write YouTube mini skein and I will include a free mini skein in your order. So that will just be today's fun freebie. And what else? I guess that's almost everything. Gosh, I've been going a long time anyway. I haven't coughed that much, I don't think. I'll see when I go back to edit. This is my beautiful knit collage stuff. Ooh. Waiting to be made. I'm gonna do 3. I'm not sure if I mentioned that I think I did show you guys the yarn for my Faye fringe. I've wound that up. So now I'm ready for that. This is the Spun Cloud in Breezy Blue. And this is the beautiful Cosmos Purple Daisy Chain, I think it's called. Really beautiful. I love these bits of lace. There's so much sparkle in that. It's so pretty. And then I have my mini skein set. Where did I put that? Oh, I think it's kind of all apart right now. The mini skeins for that are at the bottom of this basket. But I did also get in the mail the stuff for my, I know I showed you guys a picture of this, but this is for my wisteria, which is the brioche. These are the 2 main colors that I'm gonna do for that. This is a really fun yarn. It is Serenity, and it's a boucle. So I thought these 2 colors would be really nice as the main colors to contrast. And then with that, I think what you do is you kind of intersperse, you kind of sometimes use this color and sometimes use this one. So these are, this is a light color, I picked that to go with that one. And where's the other one? Did I drop it? Oh no, here. This one's a little bit darker, so I picked that to go with this one. So once we get started, I'll be able to see how that works, how that looks. But I think sometimes you just kind of switch it out. So this is gonna be the light side, this is gonna be the dark side for the 2-color brioche basically. And then with these, I'm gonna intersperse these mini skeins that I got. Kind of the lighter ones. I thought we'll go with the lighter colors, and then there's some darker ones in there too. I think that's going to be so pretty. And then I got all this Spun Cloud. I think I got 3 of these. I did get 3 of these, but I wish I'd gotten more. I think I should have gotten another one. This is going to be my everyday yay. And actually this color is so pretty. It's called Twig. And I think it's really nice. I need more neutral sweaters. I have a lot of really bright statement-y sweaters. I need some more sweaters for when I'm just feeling like I don't want to stand out, which is a lot of the time actually. And if I do I am thinking I will do the embroidery on the everyday yay. And I think it would be so pretty. Actually, don't know if I have that color right here to do some really bright. Let me just look if I have it. Some really, really bright colors on here would be pretty. I might have to get some more of the, that's really pretty. There is another orange color. Well, this is really pretty. I don't know, I think some really bright neon-y colors would look good. I can't really find it in this basket. There's so much knit collage kind of bits in here. Sorry. I think bright colors against this very neutral brown would stand out for the embroidery. So we'll see if I do that Anyway, very excited. I know I'll have bits of this left over as well, so the pink's pretty too. We'll see what I do. The Everyday Yay was really kind of a little bit of an afterthought just because this was on sale, so it was not very expensive, and I just thought I could use a sweater like that. I feel like I have a lot of bulky sweaters now. That's sort of why I chose doing the faux fringe bag and the shawl. Also, those are two techniques that I would like to learn more about, but then this really spoke to me. And I thought, yeah, I could use another kind of a neutral sweater. So that's what I'm gonna do with that. I'm very, very excited to get started on those. But then again, I have to work as much as I can on my Stephenville Crossing because I feel like I'm gonna put that aside a little bit. Would be great if I could get that whole front side done. That would be awesome. All right, well, what else? I think that just in my life, what have I been doing? I'm so excited because both of my kids have I think today is their last day, basically. I think they both have one more paper or something like that that's due next week. They're both in college. My daughter, Chloe, is just finishing her first year at Hamilton, which is in upstate New York. And my son Spencer is finishing his third year at Brown in Providence. So they are both finishing this in the next week, and we're gonna all see each other a lot more this summer. I haven't seen them very much at all this year. It's been really a weird first empty nest year, as I think I might have mentioned in a previous video. But this summer, especially with Chloe, my daughter, I'm gonna see her a lot. My son Spencer has an internship in New York City, which I probably won't see him as much, but in August I'll see him a lot. So we'll be together for a while. And we're gonna be going up to the Adirondacks soon. That's where we have a summer house that we bought. It was my husband's family house that we bought a few years ago, and it's just a summer place on a lake. It's beautiful though, and I will share some future episodes of my podcast. I did one podcast up there a couple years ago, so you can look back for that. I think I showed a little bit of the house, but very old Adirondack camp, and it's beautiful, and so we're looking forward to spending a lot of time up there this summer. My husband's already gone up to open it for the season, and I'm gonna go up at the end of June for a few days and be reunited with my kids up there, and then we're all coming back to Princeton. So we'll be spending a lot of time in upstate New York this summer. So anyway, I don't know if that showed on the screen. It just said low power. I'm losing power on my phone. So, all right, so I'm gonna sign off, and thank you so much for joining me again, and I will be back soon, and I hope you guys are all well. Have a great week. See you. Bye.